It's my pleasure, Mary.
Lawrence, could we begin with a brief description of Betach and with an explanation of what the primary business problem was that you were trying to resolve with your implementation of Office 365?
Certainly. For just a description of Betach, Mary, Betach's been in business for over 8 years. Originally, our focus was very much the field service automation around the oil and gas service industry. So we were quite a traditional IT organization in that sense. About 3 years ago, we saw a business opportunity with the cloud and with what Microsoft was doing in the cloud, and saw this as kind of an early stage entry point. With that said, we got involved close to 3 years ago with Microsoft's offering. At that point in time, it was called BPOS, and that has now evolved to Office 365. We have become a Microsoft Cloud Accelerate partner in that space and really have grown our business and our practice around that. We are located in Calgary, Canada. We've got about a dozen employees and contractors who work for us in that space. We actually provide services all over Western Canada and have clients in the cloud space from Vancouver Island all the way to Winnipeg, and really from Fort McMurray in the north as far south actually as Kingston, Jamaica. From a business problem that we were looking at trying to solve, we saw Office 365 and its precursor BPOS really as a way for us to grow our business ourselves without necessarily having to add a whole bunch of what I will call technical propeller head type of individuals. Our focus was very much on solving business challenges for our clients, and Office 365 and Microsoft's cloud offerings in general allowed us to do that and gave us a foundational basis of technology and services that allowed us to work with customers as small as 1 to 5 users and as large as 1,000 users, and to do that cost effectively.
It sounds like you've made a really big commitment to the cloud and that you wanted to use Office 365 for all aspects of the business. I'm just wondering, which components of 365 did you implement? And, what was the transition like moving from BPOS to Office 365?
Well, which components? I guess your comment first off about us making a real commitment to the cloud is dead on. We've fundamentally bet our business that this is the right way to go, and to work with Microsoft on this. From an aspect of which components have we implemented, we have actually implemented all of the components of Office 365. So we are using Exchange for email. We use SharePoint in our organization and in our customer environments, and do consulting around SharePoint. We work with Microsoft Lync from a presence and information IM perspective, and use it internally, and also many of our clients use it. The interesting thing that we've also really found with Office 365, and what I think has even caught us a little bit by surprise, is the amount of interest in using Office 365 also as a licensing vehicle for Office. A lot of customers are telling us that they're very interested in the aspect of purchasing Office 2010 Pro Plus through Office 365 and using that as a way to manage their licenses, to simplify the process of their licenses. So it's been a very interesting process because that actually caught us by surprise.
Well, that's a very interesting case for your clients. They're actually
Correct.
Yeah. When you're working with clients, can you take the experience that you developed with your implementation and help them work through the process? I'm just wondering what you had to do as an organization to prepare for implementation of Office 365. Was there a planning process? Did you have to make some technology investments? How do you go about implementing?
Well, that's a good question, Mary, because fundamentally we've done exactly what you're thinking there. Is that what we have done is first off go through a process of understanding what we need to do to implement Office 365 and to go from in our case BPOS to Office 365. We've taken the prescribed approach that Microsoft has laid out and then taken that approach and actually customized it a little bit to suit ourselves and to suit the size and type of customers that we would deal with. So we have taken a very defined approach of plan, prepare, and migrate from a process of needing to purchase any hardware or any other things. We haven't had to do that. And again, that's the beauty of being able to use the cloud, is that we've been able to move to the latest platform across the board within our organization and do that without needing to go out and purchase any hardware at all.
And you are staffed with specialists, so you wouldn't need to go to a third party for advice on this, since you would be technically the third party.
That is correct.
What lessons did you learn through this process that you could share with some of the viewers on IT in Canada? Any tips, any advice that you could offer?
Well, I think the key thing that we learned is you can't really do enough planning. The planning component is absolutely critical, because without first laying the plan, understanding what you want to do, and that may be, how are we going to migrate? Whether I'm migrating from BPOS or whether I'm migrating from my own Exchange environment or whether I'm migrating from some other email environment, that you may be running on-premise or through another hoster. The key learning from our perspective is that the planning piece is incredibly important. You have to understand, how do I manage any of the upgrades that I do need to do to users' computers? How do I look at security? What am I going to do around potentially Active Directory federation for single sign-on? And maybe depending on the size of the organization, I will choose not to do that. But I need to look at all of those things, and I need to plan that out and make some conscious decisions. Once the planning component is done, from a BPOS perspective, the migration is actually very simple, because Microsoft manages that migration on the back end, and we just have to be ready to receive it. If it was a migration from some third-party software or from a hosted solution, that would be different. There would be a lot more work from our side and from our customer side, potentially, with that.
And you would help your customers with the planning process?
Absolutely. We've done that with all of our current clients, and we'd certainly do it with going forward for anyone.
Okay. Just a last question, if you don't mind, Lauren. I'm interested in what the benefits of implementing Office 365 are. And I kind of look at it from three different angles. One is, how does it benefit the organization, so Betach in your case? And then, how does it benefit people whose responsibility is to work with IT, so your IT staff? And how is it for the users, the employees who might use the tools on a daily basis?
Well, a key benefit from an organizational perspective, I think, is that it eliminates that capital-intensive upgrade process that exists when you happen to have your own infrastructure running on site. So You know, I'm moving from one version of Exchange to the next. I need to go out and buy servers or set up virtual environments. I need licensing. I need all of those, that capital component. I need the consulting expertise to set it all up internally and do that. Well, now with Office 365, I don't need to do that. So at an organizational, as a business owner, and at an organizational level, that's a huge benefit to me. From a technical perspective, the key thing that I see is that it allows my technical staff and the technical staff within an organization to focus around solving business problems, not around managing their Exchange server, right? Let Microsoft do that. Microsoft's built the solution, has built Exchange, and they know how to run it, and they run it extremely well. So that's another key component. It gives the IT people and the IT staff an ability to do higher value type of services within an organization and really sort of add some additional business value. And then lastly, from a user perspective, the nicest thing about it is that fundamentally the tools you would use, so Outlook and Office and all of that, are the same. Right? So the users don't have to worry about learning anything. They've got excellent connectivity, whether they're on the road or sitting in their office, and they've got all of these tools that the users have been familiar with since they've been running Office 2003 or Office 2007 or now with Office 2010, and they get access to all of these services and all of these components without necessarily needing to invest a bunch of time and energy learning something new.
Right, that's great. So the familiarity actually means that they don't have to invest the time in training. There's no reluctance, and ultimately you get more productivity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's fantastic, Loris. I really appreciate your help this afternoon. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Mary, and it was my pleasure to do this and to chat with you.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care.